Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson, Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty southpaws.
With Canelo Alvarez, Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout?
Like it's honest, but again, I want to see them fight. I want to see some aggression. Tank would have that if it was anyone he actually felt was worth it. I just don't know if he thinks Jake's worth it. Again, I get that feeling that he just is there.
Jake Paul's latest move in preparing for his fight with Gervonta Davis is bringing in Shakur Stevenson as a sparring partner. Paul revealed that Stevenson personally offered to help, adding extra credibility to his camp. He explained that his team has assembled a group of skilled southpaws, smaller, experienced fighters who can give him the precise looks he needs. Among them, Shakur's involvement is especially notable, given there was no prior connection between the two. Paul believes that training with Stevenson and the rest of his sparring partners will sharpen his skills and better prepare him for the challenge of facing Tank.
Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're going to hit up Erickson, Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just going to bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty south.
Some analysts have questioned the sudden partnership between Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson, calling it both unusual and suspicious. They note that Stevenson appears to have stepped into the sparring role in a way reminiscent of Jaron Boots Ennis, helping Canelo Alvarez prepare for Terence Crawford. The difference, however, is that Boots had family connections with Canelo, which made their collaboration more understandable. In Stevenson's case, there's no history or personal ties linking him to Paul, making the arrangement stand out even more. This has led some observers to suspect that financial incentives played a key role, with Paul possibly offering Stevenson significant compensation to join his camp. As a result, the move is being framed less as a boxing-driven decision and more as a business one, sparking debate about the unusual nature of this partnership between two fighters who had no prior association.
Shakur Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's just a YouTube, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly to make it happen?
Shakur Stevenson has offered his own perspective on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis matchup, clarifying where he stands. He explained that if he were in Tank's position, he would view the fight through two lenses. From a business standpoint, it makes sense because of the financial rewards and the massive spotlight it brings. But as a fighter, Stevenson admitted that he personally wouldn't take such a bout, underscoring the difference between treating boxing as a business move and treating it as pure competition. Addressing criticism of his role of sparring with Jake Paul, Stevenson openly acknowledged that financial factors play a part in such decisions. By separating business from fighter pride, he highlighted the reality of modern boxing, where the line between sporting credibility and entertainment is often blurred.
So can you blame a man for taking that opportunity? Because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that.
Okay.
It just depends. As a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity,
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made.
At the official press conference, tensions escalated when Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis came face-to-face, resulting in a shove that instantly lit up social media and grabbed headlines. While the moment looked heated, many analysts believe it was more showmanship than genuine hostility. In today's boxing landscape, these staged confrontations often serve as marketing tools, creating viral buzz and driving pay-per-view interest. The push between Jake and Tank fits perfectly into the storyline. A bigger, stronger fighter trying to impose himself against a smaller but more skilled opponent. It frames the matchup as both spectacle and competition, blending drama with sporting intrigue. By fueling curiosity, even among casual fans, the press conference scuffle adds another layer of hype, ensuring that fight night draws maximum attention.
Yeah. Southpaw orthodox matchup, left hand down the pipe. You can even see here, I'm not even trying to do the whole body language breakdown, but you can even see Tank get under that left hand because he's 5-0. He could roll under that left hand, and here comes the brick hand over the top. If he lands something like that in 10 ounces, I'm going to tell you this. Jake's 200 and something pounds. That's still going to hurt at the very least, and who knows what, because Tank's got ridiculous power. So Jake, a little sloppy on the push there. He got pushed. He wanted to get it back. There's something to be taken away from that, but lines up perfectly for a counter left hand. And you even see his promoter here is kind of grabbing his left hand because Tank wanted to let it fly. Jake backed up a little bit. He said, "Oh," and Tank comes. Tank, man. Tank said, "Where I'm from, the bullies get bullied." All right, dude. There you go. Listen, takeaways from this thing. I don't know. Tank seemed to have a little bit more energy today. He seemed to be more lively. Him going back and forth with the media, with Jay Leon, with Jake, with Aiden Ross. There seemed to be a bit more energy today. That's all I really asked for. So in terms of, selling us on something, sure. Better job today from both guys. Jake, seemed a bit more locked in here with Tank as well. They had a little bit more fun. Tank going after Keeso was pretty funny. But listen, this doesn't change anything in my mind. The 10-ounce gloves doesn't really change anything to me. I mean, again, I think that's a bad idea for Tank, more so because even if Jake doesn't land clean, those are 10-ounce gloves, still going to hurt. Tank is still punching in gloves that are 2 ounces heavier than he normally uses, so I don't know how that's a win for him. The $2 million bet almost certainly won't happen, which I didn't think would in the first place, but Tank pretty much confirmed it. And we're all left with the same kind of idea that we thought about this to begin with. This is an entertainment exhibition that we know is going to draw a ton of eyeballs. I'm going to watch. And there's going to be great high-level competition boxing on the underneath card. And even in the main event, if something is to happen, if someone is to get knocked out, it will go mega viral. And both these guys are going to make a shit ton of money.
Despite the entertainment-driven buildup, boxing insiders stress that Gervonta Davis is taking this fight with Jake Paul very seriously. Analysts point to his focused body language and intense preparation as signs that Tank is locked in. They note that the stakes are bigger than they appear. A victory over Paul not only delivers a massive payday, but also boosts Davis's mainstream profile. Experts warn that Paul cannot afford to underestimate Davis the way he may have downplayed older names like Mike Tyson in promotional talk. Unlike past exhibition opponents, Davis is in his prime and carries a reputation for ruthless finishing ability. If Paul treats this fight casually, it could end in disaster. The discipline Davis has shown in camp reflects that he understands both the financial rewards and the reputational risks, because losing to a YouTuber turned boxer would carry heavy consequences for his career.
In this particular in the press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I got to say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn.
Showbiz the Adult has taken a firm stance on the potential impact of a Gervonta Tank Davis victory over Jake Paul. He argues that if Tank wins, especially by knockout, it would make him a hero not just to hardcore boxing fans, but to casual viewers as well. The reasoning is simple. Many people have been waiting to see Jake Paul humbled after his climb from social media star to boxing headliner. From this perspective, Tank's win would go beyond the ring. It would satisfy the frustration of traditional boxing fans who see Paul as an outsider, while also giving casual audiences the dramatic ending they've been hoping for. Paul's rise has divided the sport, attracting younger audiences while irritating purists. By delivering the knockout, Davis would cement himself as the man who brought Paul back down to earth, elevating his own image inside the sport and in popular culture. In this sense, the fight carries cultural weight, with Tank positioned as the defender of boxing pride against Paul's disruptive rise.
Gervonta Tank Davis stops. If he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition. But it doesn't matter. Because optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
Help you up. Don't see about it. Help you up.
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a light. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him bandy legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's what you show. That you guys don't want to admit it. Don't bull jive. Think about it. He will be a boxing hero. It will go viral over and over. It's the same thing. No, not even the same. It's not even close. But there was a viral reaction when AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou.
Anthony Joshua kicked his
When AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou in the first round, it was like, now get out of here.